Social influence refers to the various ways in which other people affect our thoughts, feelings, and behavior. We are profoundly social animals, and our psychology is shaped by an almost constant awareness of others, their presence, their expectations, their judgments, and their actions. Conformity means adjusting your behavior or beliefs to match the perceived standards of a group. We often do this without conscious intention, automatically adjusting our dress, opinions, and behavior to fit whatever context we find ourselves in. Psychologists distinguish two forms of conformity. Normative social influence is conforming to gain acceptance and avoid social rejection. Informational social influence is conforming because you genuinely believe others have better information about what is correct. Solomon Asch's famous line studies demonstrated the power of normative influence. Participants who could clearly see which line matched the standards still gave the obviously wrong answer on roughly 1/3 of critical trials, simply because Confederates had unanimously given that wrong answer first. Group size matters, but not linearly. Conformity pressure increases as a group grows from 1 to about 3 or 4 people, then levels off. Adding more people beyond that threshold adds little additional pressure. The key is the appearance of unanimity, not sheer numbers. Unanimity has enormous power. In Asch's studies, when even a single Confederate broke from the group and gave the correct answer, conformity dropped by about 75%. Having any ally, even someone who gives a different wrong answer, dramatically empowers independent judgment. Cultural factors influence conformity rates. Replications of Asch's studies across cultures find somewhat higher conformity in collectivist cultures that emphasize group harmony over individual expression. Gender differences exist, but are small and context-dependent. They largely disappear on tasks where women have expertise. Research by Serge Moscovici showed that minorities can also influence majorities, a process crucial to social change. A consistent, confident minority view gradually plants seeds of doubt in the majority. Social change often begins with a minority refusing to conform to prevailing opinion. Stanley Milgram's obedience experiments placed participants in the role of teacher and instructed them to administer increasingly severe electric shocks to a learner whenever errors were made. The learner was actually a Confederate. No real shocks were delivered, but participants didn't know that. The results were shocking in every sense. 65% of participants administered what they believed to be the maximum 450-volt shock, a level marked only XXX on the shock generator. They did this despite hearing the learner scream, beg to stop, then fall silent. Milgram systematically varied conditions to identify what drove obedience. Compliance was highest when the authority figure was physically present and appeared legitimate, when the setting was a prestigious institution like Yale, and when participants could not see the learner. Milgram explained obedience through the concept of an agentic state, a psychological shift in which people see themselves as instruments of authority rather than autonomous moral agents. In this state, they relinquish personal responsibility, attributing outcomes to whoever gave the orders. Milgram's work dealt a severe blow to the dispositional fallacy, the belief that terrible acts are committed by terrible people. His results showed that ordinary, decent individuals commit harmful acts when placed in powerful situational contexts. The capacity for obedience to authority is a feature of human psychology, not pathology. Groupthink occurs in highly cohesive, isolated groups facing pressure to reach consensus. Members suppress dissent, censor their doubts, and converge on decisions without adequate critical evaluation. Classic examples include the Bay of Pigs invasion and the Challenger shuttle disaster decisions. Social loafing is the tendency to exert less individual effort when working in a group than when working alone. When individual contributions aren't identifiable, people free ride on others' efforts. Accountability, making individual contributions visible, effectively counters social loafing. Deindividuation describes the loss of self-awareness and self-restraint that occurs in large groups or anonymous situations. Crowds, costumes, online anonymity all reduce personal accountability and increase the likelihood of behavior that individuals would never engage in on their own.